Good afternoon and welcome everybody to the Orange County IDA meeting for October 23rd, 2025. The time is now 5:18 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask for the roll call, please. Bill.
Jeffrey Christ.
Here.
Dean Tamburri.
Here.
Mark Green.
Here.
Dr. Vincent Odock, absent. Linda Muller.
Here.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
And Susan Walski.
Here.
6 to 7 members present. Also for staff, myself, Bill Fioravanti, Marty Barras, our general counsel, Rudy Zoda. We have our state monitor, Mr. Brian Sandvidge from Anshin. We have our AV consultants, Matt Bigley and William Iverson. And then we have a number of guests on the screen. First of all, Gwendolyn Thames representing Amazon. Their counsel, Mr. Robert Murray from Harris Beach. Representing Banta Hospitality, Kelly Leibolt and Rich Fisher. From Skinnell for the Amazon project, Mr. Matt Boone. From the Orange County Partnership, Connor Eckert and Lucas Arache. From J&G Law, representing Garanet Pharmaceutical, Isabel Hayes and John Coppola. And we have also representing Garanet Pharmaceutical, Troy Austin. I think I got everybody.
Thank you, Bill.
Sure.
With everybody's permission, I would like to jump down to new business. So we're respectful of our guests. Anybody is welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. But the first item on new business is Banta Hospitality. We have a final resolution to consider. And Bill, I'll let you kick that off, please.
Yes, we had a successful public hearing for this. This is for a proposed Holiday Inn Express on Route 300 at the former Steak and Stein site in the town of New Windsor. What came out of the public hearing was a conversation from Supervisor Steve Bedetti from the town of New Windsor. He engaged in discussions with a representative from Banta Hospitality and their consulting firm KARC. We just continued those conversations. I'll let Mr. Rudy Zoda explain exactly how we're going to proceed with the final resolution in a proposed community benefit agreement between the developer and the town.
Pursuant to the authorizing resolution, there will be a standard 10-year pilot that we would enter into with the applicant. However, the town of New Windsor is looking for the applicant to make additional payments to the town to compensate for the reduced taxes with respect to the portion of the taxes that impact the police department. That is outside of the IDA's agreement with the applicant. It's an agreement with them directly to make yearly payments toward the police budget. But that community agreement and our pilot agreement will each reference the other document, wherein if there's a default in either document, it's considered a default in the other document as well.
In the terms of that separate agreement, which we are not party to, are still to be worked out, they will be, but in our closing documents again, which we will, upon your approval, we'll work on closing, legally closing this matter, and that will be resolved and the language will be added to the pilot agreement for that.
And I might note the authorizing resolution is on page 10 of our board packet. I don't know if anyone has a question or comment related to this. We did go through a full process of vetting this project and the reasons this makes a lot of sense, aligned with the IDA mission. Are we prepared to make a motion and take a vote? Would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Susan.
That we approve the authorizing resolution regarding the Orange County Industrial Development Agency with Banta Hospitality LLC.
Perfect. Second to that motion? Mark? Very good. Other discussion? And this needs to be a roll call vote, I believe.
Yes.
So if you would carry out that vote, please, Bill. I'm giving you a lot of assignments
No
here.
problem. My job. Jeffrey Christ.
In favor?
Dean Tamburri.
In favor.
Mark Green.
Yes.
Dr. Vincent Odock, absent. Linda Muller.
Aye.
Giovanni Palladino.
Yes.
Susan Walski.
Yes.
Motion carries. 6 out of 6.
Very good. With that, the final resolution is approved. And good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
Free to leave, help
Thank
keep
you.
the room cool, so
Thank you.
thanks.
Thanks, sir.
The next item on our new business is this Scannell Amazon final resolution. And that starts on page 16 of your board packet. And I believe we have a couple of
Yes, we're just gonna kind of review where we are.
Yes,
Again, this
review.
is a proposal for incentives for a 3.2 million square foot Amazon fulfillment center for the town of Wawayanda on McBride Road there. Again, representing the project is Gwendolyn Thames from Amazon, Matt Boone from their partner Scannell in this, and again, their counsel on this matter, Robert Murray from Harris Beach. Rudy, I think we'll start with Bob Murray to get us started.
Yes, Bob.
On a quick overview. You can hear us, Bob, right? Want to make sure we can hear you? Great.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, and hello, board members. So since the last time this project was before the board in I think it was May or June, the public hearing was held in June, and comment was taken. Amazon, read through all the comments, takes those very seriously, considered the comments, worked with Bill and the town in consideration of those comments as a follow-up to after the public hearing to discuss the pilot as proposed, which is your standard 20-year job creation pilot. But based on input from the participants in the public hearing, the parties worked together to prepare a less lucrative pilot, I guess is the best way to put it, or a deviation pilot. Following that public hearing, Amazon worked with the IDA and has established a 15-year deviated pilot instead of the 20-year pilot. So the request today before the board, as part of the inducement resolution or the final resolution, is Amazon now is seeking a 15-year term pilot. So it's deviating from the agency's standard 20-year term pilot. And within that 15-year term, and I think you have the schedule there in front of you, you can see that each year there's an increased payment each year of those 15 years than what otherwise would be paid under the standard pilot. So more money coming to each taxing jurisdiction from the get-go each year. Probably more importantly, this project's fully on the tax rolls 5 years earlier than under the standard pilot. The pilot is consistent with similarly sized projects of this size, this warehouse in Niagara County, Onondaga County, Monroe County. So, you're not being taken advantage of here. And significantly more pilot payments are going to be made, tens of millions to the taxing jurisdictions over this 15-year period. So under the 20-year pilot, Amazon would have received about over $102 million in real property tax abatement. Under this pilot, Amazon's receiving $80 million. So significantly, a large difference, all that accruing to the benefit of the taxing jurisdiction. Consistent with New York law, the deviation notice was sent out by the IDA to the taxing jurisdictions. And just in my 25 years of, and I represent IDAs throughout the state, this is the first time I've ever had a pilot deviation go the other way for the benefit of the taxing jurisdiction. So that's the one change, and good policy making there. The public hearing comments were heard and considered.
Thank you, Bob. Anybody else on the docket, Bill?
Only if there are questions. I was asked by a board member if I could enumerate the benefits of the project. If it comes to fruition, and I'll just tick off the main ones, there'll be 750 permanent jobs to be created with competitive pay, health benefits starting from day one of employment, and Amazon Choice, which is Amazon paying for tuition for their employees, which is paid up front rather than a tuition reimbursement situation, and there's no additional commitment to stay as employed through Amazon by receiving those benefits. There will be over 1,000 construction jobs estimated, actually with direct and indirect more than 2,000, and those jobs will be guaranteed to be local, but only if they receive the IDA benefits. Of course, they'd be held to our local labor policy. There also will be monumental new tax revenues, especially for menacing schools. It's estimated that the schools will receive more than $40 million during the term of the 15-year pilot. That again was negotiated down from 20 years, and the schools would receive approximately $8.3 million per year after the pilot expires, and of course that generally would increase. every year. It is important to note that this would be built on a current active mining operation at the site. So you have a lot of dirty trucks going in and out now, and that site is now generating approximately $164,000 a year in total property taxes, school, town, and county. So obviously an enormous increase to that. The deal will also result in millions of dollars in new revenue for fire and ambulance companies, which are getting a very small amount now. There are also community benefits that are proposed for this that have been agreed upon between the town and the applicant. If the incentives are awarded, the town will receive a $1.5 million community benefit payment, and Amazon Scannell will fund the construction of a new ambulance bay for the town. Also, I will note that the board received last week an independent third-party economic impact analysis that was done by Camoin Associates, which really outlines the tremendous economic benefits to the area. And then we did use our typical internal cost-benefit analysis using the MRB tool that we and other IDAs use, and I just overly simplify that during the term of the incentives, this cost-benefit analysis says that the benefits and economic impact are 11 times the cost, so to speak, of the benefits of the IDA incentives to be offered. So 11-to-1 local benefit there. It's really a quick summary of the benefits of the project.
And these are both things we asked to be done.
Absolutely, yes. We paid for Camoin to do the study actually for the 20-year pilot, and then we had it performed again once we reduced the pilot to 15 years. And again, the MRB tool is a tool we use ourselves to develop our own cost-benefit analysis.
And this is on our website as well.
Absolutely. All these documents we talked about are on the website. In addition to letters from the public, all the resolutions, the application itself, public hearing transcript, etc.
You're thinking questions before you read the resolution?
If there are any other additional
Any
questions,
other
thought we'd do that.
questions, board?
I have a couple. Bill, just
Giovanni?
real quick, it states that the pilot payment is roughly, I'm just gonna round up, 48, or round down, 48 million, correct?
In total pilot payments?
Yeah.
Yes, including, without special districts, that amount is. With special districts, it's estimated to be a total number of payments, $56,854,000.
Now that pilot, does that include the taxes being stepped up, or is that just strictly the payment?
Yes, it's a 2% increase annually.
And again, can you just restate the total benefit to the school district again?
Yes, they would get, over the 15-year term of the pilot, they would receive $40,047,160. And then an estimated in year 16, after the pilot expires, they estimate taxes of, just to the schools, $8,295,549.
Per year.
Yes, that's just for year 16.
Okay.
Do you know what that represents as far as comparing it to the current school budget? How much of an impact that is?
I don't know that number. I don't. Let's see if I could look that up for you. While we take any other questions.
You keep working, let me see if I can find it.
Do you have any more, Giovanni?
I would like for the record, just to, if we can, just really clarify, if we can, the benefit to the county and also to the municipality as far as potential payments and tax revenue, if we have it broken down that way.
In the 2025 school year, Giovanni, Menacing Valley overall school budget was $123,533,000. So you're looking at roughly somewhere 7-something%.
Yeah.
About 7.3,
Thank you.
approximately.
I don't have my abacus, but sure.
And then to your question about county and town taxes, the lion's share of the taxes certainly are the school district, no doubt about it. For Orange County, over the 15-year term of the pilot, they'd receive total tax payments of $5,455,095. And the town, which is quite low, their taxes are quite low, they'd receive $204,000 and $204,008 over the 15 years. And for special districts, it's estimated Wayanda Ambulance would receive a total of $2,139,280. And Slate Hill Fire Company, a total of $6,445,357.
There's also approximately $2,563,000 for the highway in the town, I
Yes.
believe.
Thank you.
Oh, right.
Thank you, right.
So they're roughly contributing roughly 7% additional funds to the school district, correct? Roughly?
Yes.
You know what the school burden will be as far as students from the Amazon warehouse? Is there any burden? Is there any impact?
I don't know if Amazon can answer that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not putting kids in school.
Well, I mean.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Do you have an understanding of what potential impact you could have to
On the school district, of additional students going into the district because of this project?
I mean, we have not like done a full assessment outside of the economic impact study that you administered. I mean, I would imagine, right, that because of new job opportunities, it would, attract new residents and families of, school-age children. But I think the net benefit that's substantial to the school district would essentially account for that increase.
I'd say they're gonna bring students from the Middletown area, all over the county, even outside Pike
Other
County,
counties.
Pennsylvania as well. So I think it's gonna be drawing, for this many jobs, 750, they're gonna be drawing from a wide catchment area.
Yeah, Giovanni, are you asking, like, your concern is that this 7 million will be eaten up by?
I just want to make sure they're not doing any harm, right? So that the additional funds coming in is more than covers any potential students coming into the school district or the cost of it. I know that most school districts in Orange County, except maybe a handful, are actually looking for students.
Well,
Yeah, they're going
that's what I
down.
was just gonna say to you. Orange
There's a
County's
couple-
actually
Right.
had a depletion. I sit on the board at Port Jervis. I would say, in my opinion, the amount of quote-unquote students would be negligible when it comes to, if you're asking, are all of a sudden 150, 200 students gonna, even that probably isn't even a rounding error compared to the 7 point whatever million that's coming into that school. And the administration would probably welcome it, because again, I think 90-something% of schools in Orange County have actually been losing students.
For those that don't know, Mr. Green is a member of the Port Jervis School District,
Very
Board of
helpful.
Education.
Thank you.
We're assuming that all jobs and all students would wind up in Minnesink, and I think that's probably a mistake. I think it'll get spread over a wider
Right.
portion of the community.
Exactly.
Minnesink doesn't have the housing to support that kind of increased traffic at this
Mhm.
current time.
Is Giovanni done? Linda?
This is just a tough question, because I've heard this more often than not. If you don't get the pilot, are you not gonna come to Orange County?
So we've kind of stated in our application, no. So the cost reduction aspects of the IDA's policies, including the real property tax and sales tax exemption, are essential in leveling the economics for a project of this size and scale, especially when we're considering comparable locations for this particular site in New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and Mass.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I think there's one other thing that
Yes.
we need to dispel. I think members of our community believe that there are no taxes that are paid during the pilot program. And that is not true. That's just not true. So I think that I think we can all say this has been pretty contentious out there about what we should or should not do, and much pressure has been placed that Amazon, being, the mega corporation that you are, doesn't need any assistance or any help, that you could do this all by yourselves and that we don't benefit. And I think that what our CEO outlined in the benefits to the general population as well as the communities where Amazon would locate itself clearly shows that there is a benefit over the $165,000 that's currently being paid in taxes for a hole in the ground, as opposed to the bringing in of new jobs. So I'd like to just think that we could all take an opportunity and a moment to put the politics aside and to look at the true cost benefit of having this project move forward. So I thank you for the time, sir.
Well said, Linda. Other comments, questions? Mark?
So we can make comments?
Yes.
I feel very strongly in what was just said. It is incredibly frustrating to have this continued nonsense sent out there, and I'm truly hoping that when people look at this, and I know the numbers are a little bit different, but a hole in the ground is gonna generate $4 million in tax revenue over the next 20 years. And this project will generate $90 million plus. And even now with a shortened period of time, down to 15. And I do wanna say to you, Ms. Thomas, I don't know if this has been a positive experience for you, a frustrating experience for you, one of your easier negotiations or one of your harder. I don't expect an answer. But I do wanna thank you for working with the community, listening to the community, and coming back with positive reaction to those comments. And I personally feel very strongly that there's a disconnect with what people think we do here. We are not a charity organization. We're not looking for companies to come here that need a handout. We want the best and brightest companies to come here because they realize that Orange County has the best workers, the smartest people that want opportunity. And if, you know, we need to realize that we are a marketing business. We are trying to attract business here. And anyone that thinks different is living in a vacuum. Because Ms. Thomas, having been through the process of being in your seat when I was expanding a business and I was looking at different locations, I know in my heart you had options. And that is the thing people don't realize. It is not a vacuum. It is not a one-way street where Amazon says, I have to be in Orange County, and Orange County therefore has all this leverage to go back and say, well, we are so special that you have to come here. That's not the way the world works. And our mission is to bring those businesses here. And I urge Elon Musk, if you want to bring a Tesla plant here, I will get every tax break I can possibly get for you. I will pave the streets in gold, and I will pay you $1,000 for your private jet to get here. If Warren Buffett wants to move from Omaha and bring his financial palace here, I will do everything in my power to give you every tax break possible, because those are the opportunities and jobs that we want here. And this, the fact that a young person that, you know, having grown up in a trailer park, and when I graduated high school, it was, you know, do I work my way through college or do I go into the military to pay? And the thought of a young 18-year-old being able to go work 4 years at Amazon and now be able to have a college education after those 4 years paid for is a tremendous benefit that, frankly, I think has been poo-pooed. Or to have health insurance day one walking in the door with everything that's going on at a federal level. How dare people poo-poo the value of those opportunities for people. So again, I just want to thank you for listening to the community, for willing to work with the community. And if anyone else, Mark Zuckerberg and the rest of you, give me a call.
You should give out utility number now.
We'll be publishing
on the
that
line,
number at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Mark. Any other comments, questions from the board?
Well, if I could just piggyback on what Mark is saying, for me, I can tell you that this board works really, really hard to do our investigation to make sure we're doing the right thing for this county, especially the local municipality where the biggest impact is. And especially this project, the amount of time and investigation and internal research has been outstanding. And I don't, since I've been on the board, I've never worked so hard to really, I know I struggled with this personally. And I want to make sure that we are doing the right thing. And this is a big one. And as far as scale, Bill, how big is this project to Orange County?
There's really nothing of its scope or scale that we've had. This is the largest non-infrastructure investment that we've had in Orange County basically ever. So it's one of a kind for sure. It's not your average warehouse. It's certainly not that. There's a lot more involved, of course. So it's a unicorn to us here in Orange County.
I'm sure it's a unicorn for a lot of counties in New York State, especially upstate counties.
Should we read the resolution?
Yeah, just if there's any other comments or questions.
I was gonna ask after it's
Okay.
read, just to be sure, but.
Okay, so we did want to read in full. Since the original version you received, there's some slight modifications to the authorizing resolution, so I'm going to read the whole thing.
And
It is-
everybody has a copy of that. so-
Everyone does, yes. Everyone, to make sure everyone had read it in advance. I'm going to read 4 pages, so I ask everyone just to bear with me. Authorizing resolution regarding the authorization of Orange County Industrial Development Agency with Skinnell Properties number 600 LLC and Amazon.com Services LLC project. Whereas the Orange County Industrial Development Agency, the agency, is authorized under the laws of the state of New York, and in particular under the provisions of the New York State Industrial Development Agency Act and the agency's enabling legislation, respectively constituting Article 18A and Section 912 of the General Municipal Law, Chapter 24 of the Consolidated Laws of New York, as amended, known as the Act, to assist in providing civic facilities for the use or benefit of the general public, and whereas the agency proposes to assist, together as co-applicants, Skinnell Properties number 600 LLC and Amazon.com Services LLC, together with the co-applicants and other project sponsor or any related legal entity, if different, known as the company, in financing a proposed project consisting of the demolition of the existing underutilized properties and redevelopment and construction of a 3.2 million square foot building located at 22 McBride Road, Slate Hill, New York, 10973, known as the premises, as well as the acquisition and installation of new equipment, fixtures, and furnishings in Village of Slate Hill, Town of Wawayanda, Orange County, New York, collectively with the premises known as the project, by entering into a straight lease transaction. And whereas, in connection with the straight lease transaction, the company as lessor proposes to lease to the agency as lessee pursuant to a head lease agreement known as the head lease, the site on which the project will be located, and any renovations and improvements to be constructed thereon, and fixtures, furnishings, and equipment to be located therein. And whereas the agency as lessor proposes to lease back to the company as lessee pursuant to a lease agreement known as the lease agreement, the premises described in the head lease, and any renovations and improvements to be constructed thereon, and fixtures, furnishings, and equipment to be located therein. And whereas the agency has made certain findings and determinations in its inducement resolution regarding the project adopted on May 14, 2025, which by this reference are adopted and confirmed as though made on the date hereof. And whereas pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 859A, on June 10th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at the Minisink Valley Middle School, 2320 State Route 6, Slate Hill, New York, 10973. The agency held a public hearing with respect to the project and the proposed financial assistance being contemplated by the agency, known as the public hearing, whereat interested parties were provided a reasonable opportunity, both orally and in writing, to present their views. And whereas the company intends to enter into a certain payment in lieu of taxes agreement, known as the pilot agreement, with the town of Wawayanda, the county of Orange, and the Minisink Valley Central School District for pilot payments on the premises over a 15-year period. And whereas the 15-year pilot agreement has terms that deviate from the agency's uniform tax exemption policy, known as the UTEP, standard 20-year job creation pilot by decreasing the term of the pilot by 5 years with adjusted percentage of exemption as depicted within Exhibit A. And whereas the pilot agreement will result in the company receiving $80,208,325 in tax savings over the 15-year term, in contrast to the $102,667,901 in tax savings that the company would otherwise receive under the standard 20-year job creation pilot. And whereas notice letters detailing the deviation pilot agreement and the reasons for deviation as so described therein were mailed or delivered to each affected tax jurisdiction on October 16, 2025. And whereas at this October 23, 2025 meeting of the agency allowed representatives of all affected tax jurisdictions present at the meeting to address the agency with respect to the deviation from the agency's UTEP. And whereas the agency is considering providing financial assistance, known as the financial assistance, to the company in the form of one, on behalf of Scannell Properties No. 600 LLC, exemptions of up to $18,821,250 for state and local sales taxes that would otherwise be due with respect to project costs for qualified expenditures in an amount of up to $225 million. Two, on behalf of Amazon.com Services LLC, exemptions of up to $12,187,500 for state and local sales taxes that would otherwise be due with respect to project costs for qualified expenditures in the amount of $150 million, or otherwise authorizing the company to make purchases relating to the project in a total amount estimated up to $375 million, and therefore the value of the sales and use tax exemption benefits cannot exceed $31,008,750, and one, real property tax abatement benefits to be provided over the 15-year term of the pilot agreement, estimated to be approximately $80,208,325, resulting in estimated total pilot payments of $48,270,163. And whereas, in order to provide financial assistance to the company for the project, the agency intends to enter into the head lease, the lease agreement, a pilot agreement, and a sales tax letter, known as the sales tax letter, and other related documents with the agency, collectively known as the project documents. And whereas, based on the application to the agency for financial assistance, known as the application for financial assistance, the company represented to the agency that the project is expected to create and increase employment in the town of Wawayanda, County of Orange, and State of New York by 750 new jobs within 3 years of completion of construction, and has made additional factual representations concerning themselves and the project, which the agency is relying upon in adopting this resolution. And whereas, pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law of the State of New York, as amended, and the regulations of the Department of Environmental Conservation of the State of New York promulgated thereunder, collectively referred to hereinafter as SECRA, the agency is required to make a determination with respect to the environmental impact of any, quote, action, unquote, as said quoted term is defined in SECRA, to be taken by the agency, and the approval of the project constitutes such an action. And whereas, the Town of Wawayanda Planning Board, known as the Planning Board, determined that the project is a Type 1 action and appointed itself to act as, quote, lead agency, unquote, for purposes of conducting a coordinated review, as said quoted terms are defined in SECRA. And whereas, the agency did not object to the determination of the Planning Board of its intent to act as lead agency, to which the agency did not object, and on June 11, 2025, the town as lead agency, and consistent with the procedures and criteria set forth in 6 NYCRR 617.7, analyzed the relevant areas of environmental concern using the SECRA standards, and ultimately determined that the project would not have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and adopted a negative declaration, known as the negative declaration, a copy of which can be found in the records of the agency. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Orange County Industrial Development Agency as follows. Section 1. To accomplish the purposes of the Act, the agency determined that the project will be located in the town of Wawayanda, New York, and will consist of demolition of the existing underutilized properties and redevelopment and construction of a 200,000 square foot building located at 22 McBride Road, Slate Hill, New York, 10973. Based upon the representations contained in the application for financial assistance, the project is expected to create 750 new jobs within 3 years. Section 2. Based upon a thorough and complete review of the application and the proceedings conducted by the planning board pursuant to SECRA, the agency hereby, 1, consents to and affirms the status of the planning board as lead agency within the meaning of SECRA and determines that the proceedings undertaken by the planning board under SECRA with respect to the undertaking of the project by the company as agent of the agency satisfy the requirements of SECRA. 2, affirms that the project involves a type 1 action as that term is defined under SECRA. 3, reviews, considers, ratifies, and adopts such proceedings by the planning board, including the negative declaration. 4, determines that the project will result in no major impacts and therefore is one which will not cause significant damage to the environment, that the project will not have a, quote, significant effect on the environment, unquote, as such quoted terms are defined in SECRA. And 5, that no environmental impact statement as such quoted term is defined in SECRA need be prepared for this action. Section 3, the project qualifies for financial assistance as it meets the criteria established under General Municipal Law, Section 859-A5. Section 4, the proposed financial assistance to be provided under the pilot agreement deviates with the terms of the UTEP, and the agency hereby approves of the pilot agreement deviation as described herein. Section 5, the agency hereby approves of the company's application for financial assistance and the project and the provision of the financial assistance as described herein. Section 6, any authorized representative of the agency is hereby authorized to execute, acknowledge, and deliver the head lease, the lease agreement, pilot agreement, the sales tax letter, and other project documents as may be approved by the executing party. The execution of any such project documents by the duly authorized executing party shall constitute conclusive evidence of any approval by this section. The authorized representative of the agency is hereby authorized to affix the seal of the agency on any of the foregoing agreements and attest the same. Section 7. Any authorized representative of the agency is hereby authorized and directed for and in the name and on behalf of the agency to do all acts and things required or provided for in connection with the execution of all project documents and to execute and deliver all such project documents, additional certificates, instruments, and documents, pay all such fees, charges, and expenses, and to do all such further acts and things as may be necessary or in the opinion of the officer, employee, or agent acting desirable and proper to effect the purposes of this resolution, and to cause compliance by the agency with the terms, covenants, and provisions of the head lease, the lease agreement, or any other project documents. Section 8. The chairman, any member of the board of directors, and the executive director of the agency, as used in this resolution, the, quote, authorized representatives, unquote, are each hereby authorized and directed to execute and deliver all project documents with respect to the property comprising the project in such form as deemed reasonable or necessary. Section 9. All covenants, stipulations, obligations, and agreements of the agency contained in this resolution, the head lease, the lease agreement, or any other project document shall be deemed to be the covenants, stipulations, obligations, and agreements of the agency to the full extent authorized or permitted by law, and such covenants, stipulations, obligations, and agreements shall be binding upon the agency and its successors from time to time, and upon any board or body to which any powers or duties affecting such covenants, stipulations, obligations, and agreements shall be transferred by or in accordance with law, except as otherwise provided in this resolution. All rights, powers, and privileges conferred, and duties and liabilities imposed upon the agency or the members thereof by the provisions of this resolution, the head lease, the lease agreement, or any of the project documents shall be exercised or performed by the agency or by such members, officers, board, or body as may be required by law to exercise such powers and to perform such duties. Section 10. No covenant, stipulation, obligation, or agreement contained in this resolution, the head lease, the lease agreement, or any other project documents shall be deemed to be a covenant, stipulation, obligation, or agreement of any member, officer, agent, or employee of the agency or the County of Orange in their individual capacity, and neither the members of the agency nor any officer shall be subject to any personal liability or accountability by reason of the execution thereof. Section 11, the law firm of Blakely, Platt, and Schmidt LLP is hereby appointed counsel to the agency for this straight lease transaction. Also included in Exhibit A is the pilot schedule, the abatement schedule, what was originally proposed, the standard job creation pilot for 20 years, and then the deviated pilot request showing abatement percentages from years 1 through years 15. Lastly, adopted October 23rd, 2025, and then we have the room for the votes of the members.
Very good. Good job, Bill.
I was gonna memorize it, but there were some changes late, so.
Did that,
Does it need some water?
yeah,
I
it's
sure
got
did.
water, yeah. Take a breath, too.
Thank you.
Good thing we turned down the heat.
Mm.
Did that reading precipitate any other questions, thoughts? Are we ready to make a motion on the final resolution for
Mr.
Scanell
Chairman.
Amazon? Linda?
Not unlike me, I still have one more comment that I want to make.
Okay.
If those of you that are watching this online, please understand that this board of directors is controlled by this board of directors, not by anyone else. We make independent decisions based on independent information that we get. Nobody spoon feeds us this. These are not done deals until we say it's a done deal. So I would ask that we take the political nonsense out of this and look at this for what it is, an economic engine for Orange County and its people. And if we as a board, we all are independent, we will all make our own decisions about a yay or a nay, but please know that the culture of the IDA is one where the board of directors makes the final educated decision. Thank you very much for allowing me to make that statement.
Thank you, Linda. Anybody else? Would anyone care to make a motion for this final resolution? Mark Green, second.
I'll second.
Second, Linda Muller, thank you. And we'll be doing a roll call vote, please, Bill.
Jeffrey Christ,
In favor?
Dean Tamburi,
In favor.
Mark Green,
In favor.
Linda Muller,
In favor?
Giovanni Palladino,
In favor.
Susan Walski.
No.
That is 5 out of 6 ayes.
That carries the approval of this final resolution. Congratulations to the project team. We do appreciate, as has been said by other members, your listening to the community, making some clear concessions for the betterment of the community, and we look forward to working with you.
Congratulations.
And just again, on behalf of Amazon, thank you so much for the partnership. Your patience and fortitude, we appreciate that because one of the biggest things that we look for when looking to pick a location for an investment of this size and scale is strong local support. And so we found that with the IDA and our local town officials. And so we appreciate that. We look forward to advancing and working with you through the project.
Thank you, Gwendolyn.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next item. Have a good night if anybody's jumping off.
Thank you.
And our next item of new business is Garnett Pharmaceutical Incorporated, RN Delaware Incorporated. This is an initial resolution that we're considering. And we're gonna have a presentation on this?
Yes, I'll just say this is a very exciting project. It's a real milestone event for Orange County. We've been trying to really track next level projects, high impact projects and employers in industry sectors that we want to see here for generations. That was the whole reason that we updated our uniform tax exemption policy and prioritize projects like this. Garnett is an incredible win if it is to happen. And a lot of that work was borne by the Orange County Partnership. So I did want to give the President and CEO of the OCP, Mr. Connor Eckert, an opportunity to kind of introduce the project to the board.
And this is page 21 of your packet. Connor, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Excited to be here. Should I go into the middle of the
Sure,
Can I
please,
say
come
something
right here,
here?
sure, that'd be great.
Exciting night. Good evening, folks. My name is Connor Eckert. I'm the president and CEO of the Orange County Partnership. I have the privilege today of introducing, as Bill said, what I think is a highly impactful project for the future of Orange County, and exactly the type of project we've been talking about for decades, trying to grow. Today we're going to be handed off to Troy and the team very shortly. But the name of the company is Garanet Pharmaceuticals. They manufacture and process what's called chlorhexidine gluconate and related products, which are essentially advanced antiseptic products. So what we're talking about here is the creation potentially of 100 well-paying life science careers, investment of $46 million at a critical site in the community adjacent to Stewart Airport. And uniquely, by manufacturing this product locally, we're localizing a supply chain for critical public health items that Troy will speak more on in the presentation. And the project represents a unique collaboration between our local team and the IDA, but also is as high as Governor Hochul directly in Empire State Development, the county executive certainly. And this project is a highly sought after investment across the country. Pharmaceutical site selection is the top tier of economic development. And make no mistake, high impact IDA incentives, sector focused IDA incentives, as per the UTEP policy, is really what helped attract Garanet to this market preliminarily as we made a site selection announcement. So as Bill said, this project is really a new frontier for job creation in Orange County, and with that I'll hand it off to Troy and Troy Austin, who's the Chief Commercial Officer at Garanet Pharmaceuticals, John Capello, and Isabel Hayes from J&J. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Connor.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm John Capello with J&G Law. It may not be Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg, but we're like the San Antonio Spurs. We're the up-and-coming new team coming here to the area. And Nitin Garg, the CEO, is kind of like the Victor Wembanyama of the. I watched the game. I had a late meeting last night, so I got to watch the game. So it's on my mind. But we're excited to be here. I'd like to just piggyback on what Connor said. The effort to bring Garanet here is a great example of what a bipartisan effort can achieve here for the county. We had the governor's office in Empire State Development. We had Connor in the county executive office, and also the town of New Windsor, who we've been before now for our first application, has been very welcoming. They had pointed questions which were prepared to answer with our engineering team, but they've been very supportive of the property. So it's all levels of government across all parties that have been supporting it, in recognition that, you know, this is the type of light manufacturing with about 165,000 square foot facility for light manufacturing, as Troy will explain a little bit, and a 30,000 square foot building of research and development to explore new opportunities and continue to develop and expand. It's literally, look out your window. This will be a project that you will be able to see the fruits of your work every meeting, probably outside the window. It's a unique parcel, but it's a parcel that was tagged and identified to attract development. A couple of decades ago, actually, you know, the county and town of New Windsor did a generic environmental impact statement to pre-review the impacts and use Stewart as an economic engine. This will be a big jewel in that project to provide something right there so people will know as soon as you get off the airplane in Stewart, and God willing, we'll have more airplanes there soon, and you will see the fruits of your work. So it's about a 15-acre parcel. It's got some unique, while it's got great, you know, no wetlands, no steep slopes, but it does have some unique characteristics. It's the first project I've ever seen that has fronted by 5 roads, actually. And it's, to add to it, it's divided by an abandoned road to Zoli Lane, which you probably drive by every time you come here. There's a lot of utilities located in there that have to be relocated. There's some, a bit of grading work Not to bore you with too much details, but there is cost involved in attracting it. And you had a seller who was anxious to sell the property, and Garanet made the decision to purchase it, knowing that if they couldn't go through with the process, that the project had enough value in its location to be able to flip. So, but you know, as we discuss and as we go through the process with your board, we believe that the incentives that you could provide will be that last boost that will make this project a reality and bring approximately 100 jobs, many of them well-paying, high-tech jobs that I hear every time I'm in a community with a warehouse. We want high-tech, we want manufacturing jobs. This is the project that will, will bring a lot of those opportunities. So with that, I'm going to bring it to Troy, and then we'd love to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, John. Troy? Sure.
We did bring props.
We both forgot to use our prop, but if you want to know what the product is, and hopefully none of you have seen this because it's but if any of you have had surgery, what you are required to use for disinfectant the day before your surgery, this is part of what will be manufactured, right here.
You can talk a little, pass it around.
Oh, I've seen too many of these.
Also, I'll give it a plug for Medline who distributes.
Well, thank you guys for the opportunity to be here. I've been with Garanet for only 2.5 years, but I've known the owners. I've represented them for over 20 years in the industry, so I do know them quite well. Just wanted to take an opportunity to kind of introduce the company quickly, but then also where we're going and why. So Garanet Pharmaceutical, Rohit Garg and Nitin Garg are the two owners, brothers from India, who started off with absolutely nothing. One of Kananai's favorite stories about these two gentlemen, just to kind of know what you're getting into. Their first trip to the US, they had a choice to make in a presentation. Do we sell our airplane tickets home to buy a laptop that was required to go do a sales pitch to a customer and bank on the fact that I'm gonna get that purchase order and be able to fly home? And they did it. They did get the purchase order and everything moved forward from there. But these guys believe in themselves, started with nothing. About 8-9 years ago, they made this weird decision as a manufacturer in India where they started to do it here in the US. I was representing their source in India. I did not want it here in the US because they had a sales team here, right? So long story short, they believed in investing here and they continue to want to do that. And so, yes, you're gonna hear about jobs and opportunities, but the story I really wanna let you know is these guys really want to be here in the US and they really wanna continue to grow. They don't need to, right? This isn't about anything that they have to do in their lives. They just love doing this. So anyway, just real quick, if you go to the next slide, again, that's the owners right there, 1994. We do have a global presence, again, started in Surat, India. That site still exists. It makes our intermediates for the finished APIs that are made in Fairfield, New Jersey right now. And again, we service over about 100 countries globally. Right now, again, 40 million, about 300 people globally. The U.S. operation, so the company that we bought here was actually a customer of ours that was making the API. It's called Lab Express. We purchased that facility and then we changed the name. Had a lot of regulation work we needed to do, so they changed that. And again, they're located in Fairfield, New Jersey. So this is kind of goes along. If you'll notice on the top, that is the packet that you're seeing there. It's used in a couple different applications ways depending on the potency and what it is. It is used to clean the surgical things that are in there from time to time. I know isopropyl alcohol is used quite a bit. This is for very specific bacteria as well too. And then also it's used obviously as the topical part of it. Other products that you're gonna see that have just simply since we've announced coming here, it has been amazing to see other projects that we're already getting asked to do. So the one on the left that you see there on the bottom left, that's an oral rinse. That's going to be our first ANDA that we're working on and filing right now. Used a lot by when you're go to an oral surgeon for things as well as things like that. Not over the counter, but the one to the right, obviously, again, if you've had surgery, you come back and you realize you're stained with iodine, that's a povidone iodine solution. They're used in 1%, 5%, and 10%. They're used in swab sticks and things like that. This wasn't on our radar 2 years ago. But because of these sites that we're talking about and building here in the US, we're getting a lot of inquiries from the Becton Dickinsons of the world, Medlines and Strikers saying, hey, can you guys do this for us as well too? So it's been really fun to see how this expansion is going to the point where I'm actually nervous we're gonna run out of room here. So, which is a great problem to have. So anyway, these are just a snapshot of some of the products that we're looking at doing. These would be the primary ones. Again, as we talk about this, you can see the first one is just the sheer number of jobs that we're talking about doing. We do believe we'll cap out in year 3. One of the things that we did want to talk about is obviously the investments and then the breakdown there. Obviously year 2 being our biggest one, and that's where obviously comes all the work, right? The hardest part for us in all of this is we strictly rely on the FDA for a lot of approvals and processes. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the benefits with the FDA that we have coming up here. So if you want to go to the next slide. All right. As we talk about this, one of the things I wasn't expecting when I came here, and again, I'll credit Connor for this one, we really do struggle with employment. Our jobs, even our operations jobs, require a very high level of understanding from the FDA, from regulations and things like that. And so we're struggling with this gap of we don't need people with associates and bachelor's degree in their lines, but we do have to have this training and this education level. And we've been working with SUNY Orange, and it's really kind of neat to see how they're wrapping around us is saying, what if we developed like a 30-week program or something to train people to get them to going? Same thing in the lab. And the great part about that is it gives people opportunity that maybe have said, I'm not the best student in the world, but I really can do lab work. And it's going to get people the opportunity to get into a laboratory environment, and then maybe they want to move on. And so we're even talking about that associate's degree level of people saying, hey, I've been doing this for a couple of years. I think I'm ready to advance my career. So I've been really impressed with SUNY Orange and their desire to really say, hey, how do we really help your educational process from A to Z? And they're not even afraid to address this master's issue looking at other universities down the road. Because the facility we're talking about, there are a lot of surgical wipes that are coming down the road that are new, and there's a lot of things that are coming down in the antiseptic market that aren't out there yet. And so our research and development, specifically the formulators, those are going to be key jobs that are coming in that year 3 and 4. Kind of a rough sketch of what we're doing on the outside. We're just kind of starting this project, but again, this would be 2 separate facilities. One is the operational side, and the other is a 3-story where it would be basically a research and development areas and regulatory. Again, what's been fun about this process is obviously we had the governor, the global awareness. It's been fun to see people reach out, but I really want to just talk real quick about the last 2. We were contacted by the Made in America part of the federal government, and it was a very interesting conversation. I was actually nervous at first, right, because I had no idea what they wanted from us. They wanted to know what we were going to be doing. What's the value, which we talk a lot about during COVID, and we're still seeing ripple effects of COVID, especially with the povidone iodine. We can't keep up on these surgeries. If you look to these doctors, the biggest thing to tell you is they're struggling with getting these products in on time. So the Made in America group wanted to understand how we were going to fill that gap, but what I love about it is they're not afraid to bring us new ideas. So even in our last meeting with them, they came up with some finished products that we don't even know anything about yet. But they're saying these are not made here in the US, and we really like the opportunity for you guys to consider those. And then the last thing, obviously, there's a very new policy out about what's called the FDA pre-check, which is exciting for us. If you're building a new plant, renovating a new facility for finished dosage, the FDA will actually start with you from the very beginning to make sure that everything is fine. So when you get to that end state, you're not waiting nervously for that 6, 12, 18 months for approval. You'll know going into that where your little things are that you have to improve and complete. So that's a new pilot program. It's not started by the FDA, but we have asked to be one of the pilots for that. We don't know if they'll accept it or not because there's some really big companies out there also asking to be part of the pilot, but it's an exciting program by the FDA. And that's all I had, really. I don't know if people have questions or not, but that was kind of just a little bit about who we are and what we're doing.
That was quite a bit. Susan?
Have you reached out to Thoreau at all?
Touro Medical College?
College, yeah.
In the city of Middletown?
I don't think so.
They're part of a consortium of colleges that we're going to pool together to meet, as Troy said, the general skills, the QC/QA, and then the higher and master level skills. So they'll be part of this educational team that we're building. But amazing resource for this in particular.
Sure. I would assume that also means the mount, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Are you actually moving your people from Fairfield, or is this an additional?
Good question. This is additional. So our Fairfield site's gonna remain, because the biggest problem is we make our active pharmaceutical ingredient there. And that's where our drug master files are filed. That's where all these companies that have their ANDA filings for the US FDA have that site registered. This site would be an alternate site for that, but it would not be the primary site right now. This would be all finished dosage.
What's the timetable that you're trying to?
Not quick
Okay.
enough for me.
Fast?
So as a record, I'm the chief commercial officer, so I'm the sales guy. And I told Connor on the way up here, this thing's gotta go quick. I need this up because I can't explain that my job is the easiest job in the world as a salesperson because people are calling, asking for us to make these products, right?
Okay.
I mean, I kind of look good to the owners, please don't tell them that, but they're like, where do these opportunities come from? And it just comes from the fact that we have this opportunity here.
And just to add on that, we have been before the planning board in New Windsor. They started the seeker process. You should have gotten notice of lead
Yes.
agency. The orientation of the building, the sizes of the building, you know, we have a concept, and now it's really with EC Engineering, a local engineering firm, to do the hard engineering of the full grading plan, the utility locations, because there's some upgrades to utilities necessary to accommodate not just this development, but future development of the other vacant lots in New Windsor. So, you know, assuming there's no unique situations that are not anticipated, we, you know, are hoping to be through the process on the local level 4 to 6 months, you know, if, you know, many calls to Ross, but, you know, but I, you know, so far it looks like it's pretty cut and dried, and we just need to do the hard engineering, the landscaping plan, you know, the architectural.
Yeah, the way you're describing this is, you know, again, you didn't start the building yet, but that, is there room on that lot specifically if you wanted to add to it? Are you doing something that if you needed an expansion, you could there, or who knows, or?
I'm not the engineer on that one. I don't know if there is or not.
Yeah, this particular lot, you know, there are other lots in Stewart and other areas. I don't know if this particular configuration of lots would accommodate a lot more expansion of the building.
But I will tell you, they're looking at other property here, and the ideas of these two, it could be midnight and they're gonna be talking about ideas they have for future expansions in this area. They love what they do.
Other questions? Giovanni?
What's the typical pay range for somebody, for the people that would be working here? Well, I think the average we talked about was about 70,000, wasn't it? I think 70,000 for there, but obviously that will vary a lot depending on the degree level and things like that as well too.
Like, you were talking about like the contracts, like people are coming and whatever, like you have contracts already, like ready to go? I mean, is this something that's like, it could, you know, it's in favorable now, these products, and then they, for some reason they stop or whatever? I mean, is that, or is it?
That's a great question. You know, first off, we supply the ingredients to these companies already. So they're already buying this. They use a lot of contract facilities across the US and in foreign countries to make these products. And that's that difficulty. So what a lot of them are saying is, hey, if you're making this, and Connor alluded to the supply chain, we've got that supply chain narrowed down, and that's why people want us, because we take everything from the very basic chemicals in India all the way through the API and now to the finished dosage form. So we have about 4 of the 5 major companies that have come to us right now and said, listen, we are signing memorandums of understanding, LOIs with these companies saying, if this, then yes.
And if I could help
Yes,
answer
go.
Mr. Palladino's questions, just looking at the jobs to be created from their application, assuming by year 3, when they, again, as Mr. Austin said, fully ramped up, 5 management positions, average salary of $250,000, average fringe benefits of $5,000 to $10,000, 30 professional positions at $85,000 per year, $5,000 to $10,000 in fringe benefits, 10 administrative positions at $70,000 a year, $5,000 to $10,000 in fringe. Sales, 5 positions, $125,000 each, $5,000 to $10,000 in fringe. Production and manufacturing, $52,000, $5,000 to $10,000 in fringe. And other logistics and warehouse positions, 20 of them at $52,000 a year, $5,000 to $10,000 in fringe.
I need more salespeople than 5, I don't know why you put that.
Connor?
If I may briefly, this is an important point, and the governor alluded to it in the announcement. This will be the largest of its kind life science facility in the world. So as we talk about.
This one?
Yes, as we talk
Wow.
about planting our flag in advanced APIs, this is a great way to start, growing the sector, the largest of its kind in the world. I was excited about that.
Interesting, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that
Thank you guys for your time.
presentation, Connor and Troy. I believe we're ready to consider the inducement resolution, if anyone would care to make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Giovanni, second that motion.
You beat me to it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dean. Other discussion? And this again would be a roll call vote, so let's take the vote, please. Bill,
Sure. Jeffrey Christ,
in favor?
Dean Tamburi,
In favor?
Mark Green,
Yes.
Dr. Vincent Odock absent, Linda Muller,
Aye.
Giovanni Palladino,
Yes.
Susan Walski,
Yes.
6 ayes, motion carries.
Excellent, thank you for that, board members. And I believe that wraps up the Garnet.
Yes, the rest is all boring, so you're free to leave. Thank you so much. Thank you
guys.
being here. Troy,
You
congratulations.
really should stay.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Thanks, you guys, good luck.
This will be the first time before 10 o'clock I've been home this week.
Thanks.
Thanks, all. Take care.
Thank you.
It is on, we just don't need the, there's
It's
nothing
great.
like that. Yeah,
Oh,
we don't
okay,
need
got it.
It's really for Zoom.
Yeah. Moving on to shovel-ready 2 proposal. Bill's gonna review that,
Yes.
then we'll move back to the top of the page.
This too, something, another thing that's very exciting, and I've talked to a lot of you about this because everyone has interest in a lot of passion, it seems, on this board about advancing our shovel-ready initiative. You know, a few years ago, we commissioned Delaware Engineering to conduct a shovel-ready site analysis, a comprehensive study that identified over 300 developable properties around the county at various stages of readiness. It gave us a market analysis, what types of sectors we could attract, including some that were discussed tonight. It's now time, we applied since that time for Fast New York grants, our brownfield assessment grant, so we've been a little sidetracked with some of those projects, but now it's time for us to really put rubber to the road in terms of moving forward with the shovel-ready project. This is a follow-up proposal from Delaware Engineering, where they're gonna do a few different things, 3 components to this. One is a refresh of our shovel-ready site analysis, just based upon any changes in the market and in site conditions in that time, and also identifying a handful of strategic sites that this IDA will focus on and most likely pursue site control of property, 1 or more properties, in order to perform work like seeking entitlements for these new uses, these, again, high-impact, new sector types of uses. Also potentially making investments in infrastructure augmentation, and also preparing again to have actual site control, whether it's ownership or just having options on properties, so we are able to have control and move those, advance those properties. Also, we'll be looking, and in subsequent meetings, we'll be really diving into this, but looking to create a local development corporation, similar to our OCFC, but this will be another offshoot of the IDA, that will allow us to use, advance these types of initiatives, but really in an LDC that gives us a little bit more liability protection, allow us to be a little more nimble, but the LDC would still be required to be subject to open meeting laws and such, but we will probably comprise that of a board of, we're thinking 3 to 5 members total, and at least the majority of them being from the IDA board. We do have a couple members in mind, and then we could accept a member or more from the Orange County Partnership, as they really will be partners in this with us. This proposal provides LDC support, so supporting us in that, in creating and executing that LDC. And the last component of this proposal is for them to help us apply for and secure additional grants that we can leverage IDA funds to help advance our objectives. Grants like Fast New York, again, EPA type grants and state BOA grants. So it's a total proposal with those three components of $95,000, but I do want to be clear that I've met with this group several times. They're only going to charge us for the work that we use. We're not committing to $95,000. Whatever the work is, it's going to be tracked hourly and charged hourly, so it may not be this grand total, but this is the kind of the full boat of what it could be. So looking for your approval to allow me to execute this with them, get working with Delaware Engineering, revamp the study, move forward with our attorneys on LDC creation, and again, ultimately down the road seeking other funding opportunities. So this is an important first step, but more to come in the next couple of months.
I know the board's been interested in looking at different sites, finding those key, unique sites to help facilitate the right building project, and so forth. So, any questions, comments?
I have one. Bill, just make sure in your proposal that you have a rate schedule from them.
Okay.
So if they're doing it hourly, that you know what they're being billed.
Yeah, good idea.
All right, so that's important.
Great suggestion, thank you.
Now, Bill, does this, it doesn't really spell out, like you discussed, like, a board or whatever, I mean, this doesn't really, this is just to do this, and
This is
then
the support of that.
the other component you discussed would be afterwards, would be.
Yes, we'll be doing, I expect to talk about it in November, come back to the board on that, and have our general counsel, who I believe is who will have actually create the LDC. So we're gonna talk in greater detail and getting the expertise from our council and exactly how that will work, how it will be set up, some of the parameters around that. So more to come on details in terms of the LDC next month, most likely.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So funding for this, would it come out of OCFC or the IDA funding?
IDA. We have limited funds with OCFC, but this is in accordance with our mission. It certainly is. We're allowed to use IDA funds for this, and we would probably transfer funds in whatever increments at certain times into the LDC to allow us to use those funds for the purposes I described.
Okay.
Other questions?
Just a comment, you know, I know this has been, you know, near and dear to your heart, so it's great. You know, you made the comment that we've kind of gone off track a little bit, but for some real excellent reasons. I don't think anyone could have foreseen how the Fast, I always say it wrong, the Fast New York,
Yep.
and for me, the brownfields, to be able to reclaim this land that has been, you know, literally and figuratively dirtied by former generations, and to be able to bring that back to usable for towns and cities in our area. So I mean, it was a great detour.
It was.
But I'm excited about this next chapter for the shovel ready, as I think I speak for most people.
Thank you.
Would anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion
Chairman.
by Susan, thank you. Second, Mark Green. Other discussion, questions? I'll call the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Excellent, thank you all.
And regrouping just a touch, moving back to the upper part of the page on the agenda, the minutes from our September 25th, 2025 meeting. Any additions, corrections, motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Linda,
Second.
second by Susan. Did you have a question?
No.
Okay.
We jumped, yeah.
No, I thought we already did that.
No, we jumped right down.
Yeah, I was kinda
Because of the
wondering.
guests,
I
yes.
prematurely checkmarked it. I apologize, Jim.
Okay, I was
Don't
thinking
ever-
about it, and then I said, why not just get to new business? So, other questions, comments? I'll call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried on the minutes. Moving on to committee reports. We have audit committee scheduled first here. Susan?
The audit committee did have a meeting. As you see in your packets tonight, we did recommend that the full board move forward with the RFP for an audit firm. And again, it's not to say that we're not happy with the work currently being provided. It's just to keep us honest and clear with the public, knowing that we did our due diligence to make sure we're getting the best possible rate. We also had a discussion changing some of the language in our current labor policy. We have currently tabled that. We are waiting for more information before we can move forward with any kind of recommendations to this board.
Thank you, Susan, and I would suggest we take action on that RFP. It's part of the same one we approved in OCFC. And that would require a separate motion, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to get to that when we get back into new business, or?
I was just kind of trying to group them together.
Okay.
So,
I'll make the motion.
by Giovanni, second to that motion, Mark Green. Any other questions? Call the vote, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
So I can check mark the audit RFP down below.
You got it, you got it. Just
Doing great.
keep looking at the whole agenda here. Finance Committee, please, Mark Green, and roll into the financials on the lower parts of the page, including the budget.
Certainly, if we can turn to page 30. Really not a whole lot going on. We did get one application in from the Mountain Green.
Yeah, Mountain Green Partners, right, in the Fields hotel project in town of Warren.
Right. So that is the one. Really, other than that, there is one, the EPA brownfield assessment. While it looks like a $1,959 credit, about halfway down the page, it's just a pass-through that we received and right back out again. About a third of the way down, you will see professional fees of $2,251. That was for our almost last payment for the quality of life study. We're pretty much winding down. There'll be one more smaller charge, perhaps next month or 2 months, but a portion of that was for that.
And if I could add, that report will be released, I think it's November 6th, there's an event to release that, so that quality of life report is happening, so that's great, and they're very appreciative of us. They've called us a cornerstone investor in that process, so it's
Nicely
great.
done.
Pardon me.
Just the two more things, about halfway down, IT support and audio visual was a little bit higher, but that was because the annual Dropbox fee for our electric files to be stored. And then right underneath there, marketing and PR, a portion of that is for website update. Other than that, it was a fairly standard, boring month. If no one has any questions about that, if you could flip forward one page to page 31, I would just like you to note the very top CD, 4.7 million. That has been rolled over into another 9 month at 3.9% with Provident Bank. And with everything going on with interest rates and expected, that's a great rate. We have, that came due, and I won, how much, do you remember how much came due? Unfortunately, I didn't put that on my note. But regardless, we have more than, I think we have close to 300,000 in our checking account, which is gonna take us well through the end of the year with any potential costs there. The next thing I would refer you to would be page 41, which is the last page in your booklet. This is for our budget, proposed budget for 2026. I ask you to please look at the green column. That is the 2026 budget. The Finance Committee started this process last month. We pushed back on Bill to sharpen up a few things, and we have come up with this. If you notice at the very bottom, the very last, use of net reserves, for lack of a better term, that is the amount of money that we would have to take from our savings to balance the book. But that is also used to offset a substantial amount of the shovel-ready that we have budgeted. So net, if things go the way this is with the business we're expecting, it should be a very positive year overall. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer on any of those?
Not for me.
Then to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you, Mark, and again, the Finance Committee recommended approval of each of these items by the full board at the committee level. So I would ask for a motion to accept these financial items from the financials, payables, and the annual budgets. If anyone would like to do those, we can do them together, okay?
That's
Ready?
fine,
Yep.
yes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Linda, second
I'll
Giovanni,
second.
thank you. Unless someone has a question, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. And governance committee, we didn't have
We
governance.
canceled this month, we're gonna resume in November.
Okay, so did you have anything there,
No.
Linda? Okay, excellent. And I might ask for Bill to do the CEO report, and I'll chime in a little bit on items that I was involved in there.
You have my report in your packet, I'm just gonna add a couple of things. First of all, board trainings through the authority's budget office. You're not party to this, because you get a gold star, because you just did your updated training. Well done last month,
Nice.
Mr. Mark Green. But I am gonna pass these out, if I could, please take
I
one and pass
love
it
the
around.
state training.
Yes,
I
right.
just spent 4 hours,
That you'll never get back.
no,
School
with
board.
Port Jervis School Board.
Oh,
I am a training machine. I figured out how they do their questions, so.
So it's not explicit when exactly the AVO or how often they want you to take an updated training. It's really, they say that so you're constantly getting any updates of any changes. But really, we'd like to do it within every 2 years, and everyone is really up for that. Again, Mark just did his. These are available online. They're not like the school district training. They're much more bearable. Not the most exciting training you'll ever take, no, but they're pretty efficient and easy to get through. These are just the upcoming ones. They put a couple on the calendar, and then they continually update it on their website. So you see there's one November 7th and November 19th. If you have the time and are able to do one of these, please let me know. I will register you. See the information they need below. I'll take care of that for you. I believe I did that for you, help set it up.
Thank you.
But I'd like to make sure we're all keeping up with our trainings, and it's always good to get a refresher on that. So I do want to ask you to communicate to me when you're available. If these don't work for you, please also let me know that, and I'll update you with the next dates that come out. But I would like to hear from you on that. And the only other thing I want to update you on is the EPA. With the Brownfield Assessment Grant, we are doing great things with that. We've identified 5 or 6 properties that we're focusing on first. And we already have 2 phase 1 reports that are completed. One for Skyline Drive, the former Colmar Labs in the city of Port Jervis, which is one of the ones Mr. Green is saying he's excited about. He and everyone from Port Jervis is excited about that. We've had great communication and partnership from the mayor's office there. Their community and economic development director. We just saw their building inspector who was, bragging about that and sharing their appreciation for it. It's a site they really want to see cleaned up and redeveloped, of course, and this is a major first step. The other phase 1 report that we got was for the Orange County Fairgrounds. Tremendous potential for that property right there. That owner, Mr. Mike Gurda, he's also very excited that we're doing this, gonna help him get it, move it forward in the redevelopment of some exciting new use for that. So it's moving forward. The only holdup is we do need the EPA to approve us moving through the stages of these studies. And they've been great so far. They were slow most recently because their staff was cut by about 1/3. And now they're at a standstill because of the government shutdown. So we could get to a point where we're waiting on them. Mr. Chris and I just saw the regional director for EPA, former state senator Mike Martucci, willing to work with us however we can, but he did say that we're gonna experience some slowdown until this shutdown is resolved. So we're making great progress. As Mr. Green said, it's something, it was a detour for us, but a wonderful detour, really great stuff we're doing with properties we weren't first focused on, these dirty sites, as he said. So I'm really proud of the work we're doing and exciting things to come, all moving towards our Shovel Ready initiative. So great, and I'll continue to update you on that, but want to let you know some of the holdups potentially we'll encounter. That's really all I want to share at this time.
very good, thank you, Bill. A quick comment on placemaking conference, how would you describe that at a
Yeah,
high level?
that was great. We both participated in that. It's a conference that Vision Hudson Valley does every year, focusing on sometimes downtown, sometimes more urban areas. In this case, it was focused on agriculture, not my greatest area of expertise, but it was wonderful. We have one project we're working on, Graff Cider, also known as Hudson North Cider. They're in the city of Newburgh looking to expand. They want to acquire some agricultural property and do a U-pick thing and kind of emulate what they're doing at Angry Orchard. And we invited them to participate. They got so much out of it. It really was a valuable conference. I thought they did a really great job talking in different areas of planning and zoning and such when it comes to ag uses. Even breweries, you know, a lot
Sure.
was covered in that. So that was a great conference. They did really well, and I was glad we both participated in that.
Yes. And we both attended the investor breakfast of the partnership here last week, I guess. It was pretty
I think it was
recent.
last week,
Yeah.
yep, last Tuesday.
And there, the head of research for the Federal Reserve Bank of New York was the guest speaker. We just received the PowerPoint slides because they were very detailed and the print was very small, but he was fascinating on the attention to the economy, the sensitivity to inflation. I had no idea it got quite that fine-tuned, so that was a worthwhile event. All right. I don't have anything further to add on my chairman's report, other than those few comments. Anything else that needs to come before us tonight? Did I miss anything after jumping all around?
I think we're in good shape.
Have we got all
Check
check
marks?
marks?
I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
There's, you know, get people through.
I would just like to thank everybody for being here. It was a longer meeting than usual, but I think a very productive meeting and a lot of exciting things on the horizon, so.
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I'd like to add is thank you to Mr. Sandvidge. He's been vital in preparing for this meeting, keeping everything moving,
Thank you,
and we had
Brian.
to lean on him quite a bit. We appreciate his cooperation very much.
Yes, yes. As you can imagine, these bigger complex projects tend to keep having adjustments, and even though we had the documents out more than 7 days before, there still seemed to be some tweaks or requests from the applicant today in one case, so.
Very accommodating in that, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your support this evening.
Yes.
Some really important things that we've moved forward and exciting times, I really feel.
Exactly. A motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Susan. Mark, or who are you, Dean? I don't know why, I got so used to calling for Mark.
Don't do that to the man. Come on, you see how good looking that guy is?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Meeting adjourned. Have a good